We got another Damji here.
Another one.
Another Damji.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
All right, well, should we just get started in? Let's jump right in here.
I guess let's get going on it.
All right. All right, let's start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 17. Is it 17? I'm pretty sure it's 17. Yeah.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
17.
so.
Holy.
Time goes fast,
Time
eh?
goes by so fast. Yeah. 17. We got. I think we got the youngest guy so far on our youngest guest.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you?
23.
23.
23.
23. We got Rahim Damji here.
Yep.
And we actually met up and you had a great story, so we thought it'd be good to get you on the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
you guys having me.
Yeah.
It's a great podcast. So.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it?
yeah. I was listening last week with my cousin Nawaz was on here. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's cousins with Nawaz.
Nav.
Navaz. Owner at Equium Group here. And we actually got your brother here just sitting beside me right now, which is we've never done. So we got a guest here just listening in. Yeah, so we got Rahim Damji. I'm your host, Jason Manarinter.
And then we co-host David Liu.
We're going to be talking about what you got going on right now.
awesome.
You got Tree Trunk
yeah.
and you got Homeswipr.
Yeah.
And is there anything you else got going on there?
We have a couple fun things. We
Yeah.
got a little clothing brand called Immigrant.
Okay.
That's it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is that like your side project?
Yeah, that's a little side project.
Yeah.
We donate like 25% of the revenues there too and stuff. So, just something to do on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a staffing business where we're helping people source work out to the Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have that as well.
Yeah.
And then
Don't you have your real estate license
yeah,
also?
I have my real estate license.
Jeez.
I'm a partner on my dad's real estate team.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
But,
But
stuff on the go.
yeah, but the number one priority right now for me is the Homeswipr tree trunk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like really our goal as a company is really to push forward the real estate industry
Mm-hmm.
and really focus on experience. It's a big trend right now, and it should be a trend where people put less stuff into the process because a lot of that can be taken care of by algorithms, computers, stuff like that. And the real focus is on experience, right? How do I make someone's experience better? And I think that's the $1 million question right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially in real estate where there's so many companies coming out with this, right? Definitely focusing on the experience. I think you guys are doing the right move here, right?
Thank you.
With the tree trunk. We'll go more into the businesses, but let's talk about, you kind of make me feel lazy. Like when I was 23, man, I was not doing what you're doing. You built a website, you built an app, you built all this stuff. At what age did you start doing this, and why? Like, why did you get into this? Did you go to school? Like, what happened? Obviously, your dad's in real estate, so you got into real estate.
So my first business, actually, if you can call it a business, I was about 14 at the time, and I started selling iPod cases. This was like when like the iPhone originally came out.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, like 08, 07, whatever it was. And like literally we were buying cases from like China at like 7 cents a piece. And then I had a team of guys that were selling them at like $10, $20 a piece. And they would just pay us $10 a piece. So they'd come buy it from me and go resell it and make a little bit of a profit on it. And I was doing this at 14. I was making like $2,000 a week.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, but then after that, got more into like mom and dad's kind of business there because they've been in real estate for quite a while. And then I just started helping out, finding properties, finding deals, stuff like that. And then I always really liked the real estate space. Like there's something about it, making people happy. The day that they get the keys, there's no feeling like it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys could agree with that. It's just
Yeah, the customer experience behind it is actually pretty good. And like you're they come to you with a problem and then you solve it.
Yeah.
And then, when you hand over the keys, it's like a great feeling.
Yeah, it's really fulfilling work, right? Compared to a lot of other careers that are out there.
It's fulfilling, and what I love about it is like each deal, each transaction, each sale is different.
Yeah.
You're seeing a different house, different client, different.
Yeah.
Everything's different, right? So it's just always full of surprises.
Yeah,
which makes it like fun.
It's not like clockwork, where
Yeah.
like you do different things, and it's so much more lively than, for example, accounting. I could never do accounting; it drives me crazy.
Man, I did 3 years accounting.
Oh,
I dropped
man.
out.
Oh, man.
I was like, this is not for
No.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got into. How old were you when you got into real estate? What were you doing right out of high school? Man, that was only 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you're such a baby.
I graduated in 2015 here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So right out of high school, I started the company. The way I looked at it,
Which company?
Tree Trunk.
Okay.
Right out of high school.
Okay.
But Tree Trunk was a little bit different than we know it today at the time. Basically, I got out of high school. I was doing my mortgages course. I don't know why I went into mortgages, but I decided, hey, let's try that out. So I was doing my course, and I said, you know what? I have a choice here. Either I can go to university, spend a bunch of money, learn some skills, or I can put the same money into myself and see where that goes. And knowing me, I'm the kind of person to be like, hey, let's just try it out. What's the worst that can happen, right? Worst case, I go forward. I can always start again. I'm still young. So I said, hey, let's go with the risk. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens, right? And we started building a home posting website where you could go online, kind of like a Kijiji style site. But we realized that like it was mostly for pocket listings for real estate agents. But then when we started building it, we realized a problem. We said, okay, most real estate agents, the ones that are busy, are too busy to populate their listings. If they had a database of listings for their pocket listings, why would they need such a platform for it, right? If it was already organized. So, and then how would you monetize it, right? Would you charge a subscription, things like that? So that really, like, it didn't really work out. But we were going to build it for, like, ourselves internally, just because of Dad's real estate business and stuff. But I said, you know what, it's not the right fit. So we put that one, and we decided not to proceed forward with that.
So was that called Tree Trunk?
That was actually called... what was it called? It was called TTNet. TTNet. Oh man, we got.
That's not a good.
Yeah, we got way better at branding and marketing
That's
since
so
2015.
TTNet.
TTNet. I actually just got rid of the domain. I was paying for it for like 4 or 5 years. I'm like, why am I even paying for this? I'd never
so
use
funny.
it again.
How did you spell that?
It was literally TT and then NET net. Like, it was like Tree Trunk Networking or something. I don't even know. It was
pretty funny.
It was a bad idea.
Not very
Yeah.
search
Oh, but-
engine optimization friendly.
No, not at all.
But TT stood for Tree Trunk.
Tree Trunk, yeah.
Why Tree Trunk?
Okay,
Yeah.
so growing up, my mom always said to me, money doesn't grow on trees. So I just had to prove her wrong. Hence, I named the company Tree Trunk.
Got it. I got it.
That's so funny.
That's how
that's
we-
a typical
Yeah.
Asian parent thing to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? Got to prove him wrong.
So yeah, now you created TTNet.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
It was we were building that, but what was happening is because at that point I was fairly new to software, I didn't know anything. I had some devs building it, and I had a lot of free time. Just out of high school, helping Dad with some real estate transactions here and there. Just learning the ropes. More of an assistant at the time there. And then I said, you know what? Like, I was looking at the inefficiencies in the real estate listings, because he used to do a lot of listings. But what would happen is there's challenges, things like signs not going up, photos not done on time, measurements not complete. Feature sheets not being delivered, homes being late on MLS. And I said, okay, you know what? I have some free time. Let me clean that up for you. So I went through, started doing that. I think he was doing a good amount of listings per month. So it was really, we started building a process for it. And then what happened was when we started doing it for him, other realtors were like, oh, I wish someone would do it for me too. And I said, okay. Light bulb goes off. And I said, okay, I'll do it for you guys too.
Yeah.
So then we started building out the processes for that. We built out some software. The original version of the Tree Trunk app was nothing like it is today. It was very, very bad. One thing that I did learn over the years is that the user experience matters. It's something that we were very bad at the beginning, where we didn't listen to feedback. And I think that's the one thing that you really have to do is really listen to what the people are telling you. Because sometimes, you think you know it all, but really you don't. So we started with that. We started building this product to help track internally how we can use our marketing in-house, right? So how do we track the photos, measurements, order status, that kind of stuff. And along the road, some service providers said to us, hey, we really like your tools. Wish we had something like that for ourselves. And then another light bulb goes off. And then we say, okay, you know what? We can customize this so that other providers can use the platform too, where it can track their billing and invoicing and order management and trip system and inventory and all of that out. So we built a really, really complicated operation system and kind of swayed away from the marketing side and really built out this platform. So really, Tree Trunk is kind of built in two parts. There's the marketing, which is the services which we fulfill, and then there's the operations platform. So the beauty of it is that we can not only fulfill the service, but then we also have the software to track the logistics and operations, which gives us a good scaling advantage over a lot of competitors. Because that's where people trip up. Is okay, how do you scale this? You can do 1 home, you can do 10 homes. How do you do 500 homes, right? And that's what we've been kind of testing out here on how do we do this on scale.
I just want to be clear for the people listening what Tree Trunk actually does.
Yeah.
So Tree Trunk is an app or like a program that it's built for realtors.
Yeah.
That like when they're selling a home, you provide access to like putting their for sale signs up.
Yeah.
You put or like brochures.
Yeah.
Or what else?
So we have the full scale of products, right?
Yeah.
So the vision with Tree Trunk is that we should be able to help a realtor take care of everything that they need on the listing side. Of course, within the confines of like the rules of the real estate boards and stuff, right? So like it's like we can't do your paperwork for you and DocuSign it, right? We wish we could.
Yeah.
But there are things that we can do, right? So we can take care of your photos. So what we mean by that is we can actually schedule it for you. We'll book it. We'll get the photos, the measurements, the signs. We can print and design business cards, feature sheets, flyers. One of the cool things that really differentiates us from a lot of other companies out there is we'll actually write your descriptions on your homes and fill it up on MLS for you too. All you do is have to review it, let us know if there's any changes, and click submit. We can do the virtual tours, really the whole suite of products there. Whatever you need to list your home. And we also have it as packages. So if you're looking to sell a condo, we have a package for that. You just click on it, add it to cart, and we'll take care of everything.
Do you guys do measurements too?
Yep, measurements, floor plans,
Crazy.
the whole scope there.
We got to try them out, right?
You can test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get it all going? I know like this is the front end, this is what your service is and everything, but let's talk about how long it took you to build it to where it's at right now.
Oh, five years. Because when I started 5 years ago, I did not know any of the stuff I know today.
Yeah.
5 years ago, when we started doing marketing, and I still have the originals of this at home, we had pieces like of paper, 8.5 by 11 with check boxes, where you literally print a sheet of paper, fill up the realtor's name at the top, and track this document throughout the whole thing, checklist.
Yeah.
And
We have one of those.
and literally just keep it in a folder and then keep going back to it, try to remember that, use something similar for billing. So that's how we started out there, right? But till today, we're still building, we're still developing, we're still improving. And now it's how do we make it simpler, right? Before we said, okay, how do we do the most complex things? And we got really good at building complex things and doing complex things. But now how do we simplify it? How do we make it easier for the user? And that's really been the battle there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think that the older generation, like they don't like complicated things. So they like to do things as simple as they can. And if it's not user friendly to them, like they're just gonna not use it or walk away from it, so.
Yeah, and that's a big challenge, especially with our demographic. A lot of real estate agents are on the older side. By older, I mean like above like 40.
50,
above 50.
Yeah.
Coming from a 23-year-old, everything's older. But that's, and we noticed that a lot of the demographic, they don't want to order online. They want to pick up the phone and call in, right? So it's a whole shift in like the model where, okay, now do you need a sales rep? If you need a sales rep, do you have a sales team? Do you have a sales manager? Who's going through the process with them? So it really changes the whole model of the business. So then you really have two options. Do you want to pursue it with a model of being a tech company where you really just push the app and start, cultivating people that are younger on the younger side, and they'll grow along with the product, or you start chasing the demographic of the older agents, right? And even with that too, quite often enough, a lot of the ones that have been in the industry longer are the ones that do a lot more volume, just because they've been there longer, right? So then you have to decide, now, do you want people that will be recurring revenue, or do you want to get new clients all the time?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a challenge there.
Which one would you guys say you are focusing more on?
Yeah. Like, who's your demographic?
I would say we'd go with the younger demographic, especially just because the older demographic, they're very set in their ways a lot of the time, and they don't value their time as much as somebody in the younger generation does. Why spend 2 hours on something if you don't have to, right? If it's going to cost you the same thing, especially, right? Like, if you compare our pricing, our whole package, photos, measurements, sign, description, MLS, Facebook ads, all sign installation, we even install your sign in that, is like $430.
That's pretty reasonable.
It's and if you compare it to other companies, some companies will charge you $500 for photos and measurements only.
Yeah.
So we're really, really priced competitively, and then we also save people their time. So then we decided to stick to whatever demographic kind of falls that product line. I think instead of chasing the customer, we should put out a product that the customers really want.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. That's a good idea, but also the older population is like one of the largest populations too, like the baby boomers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I think that it'd be really tough for them to actually like try and do this because they don't like change.
Yeah,
like probably like our parents' generation, right? Like they like doing things the way they've been doing because that's how they've been doing for the last 20 years, right? So it's really hard to get that mind shift in them to actually want to try something new and save that time and money on it
of
too.
Course. So we do have an option where they can go online, and our phone number is there too. If they pick up the phone and call in, somebody will help them out. So there is that option, but we're really trying to push towards more on the app and more on the mobile website and stuff.
Yeah, that's smart though, because you want like a growing population of younger people that actually want to use this product. And as they get bigger and longer in the industry, then they'll also grow with the product as well.
Yeah.
Being 23.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's any age discrimination of like what for me? I know when I was 23 and I was a mortgage broker, I felt a lot of people were judging me. Do you get that?
It was worse when I was 18, I promise you.
Well, of course. When you're 18,
nobody
takes you serious.
No one takes
you seriously. That definitely there's a little bit of age discrimination.
How have you dealt with that? Yeah. You got a lot of employees too, right?
Yeah. Especially like one thing that I stopped doing when I started originally, you would tell people how old I am, especially people that worked with me.
When you told me how old you were after, I was like,
damn.
Yeah. So especially people that I work with, I usually try to not mention it too early on.
Yeah.
Especially like with team members and stuff, because it kind of like blurs things a little bit, right? Especially then people get a little bit distracted, maybe sometimes with the age versus the accomplishments, right? So I try to always go with like a results like driven focus, where like, look, this is who we are, this is what we've achieved, right? And the age is just there, but a lot of the time there is a little bit of discrimination with that, especially from like people that are successful in their older ways. Then it's a little bit challenging with those ones. But you gotta pick your battles too. You can't convince everybody of everything.
Yeah, I think it's really relative too, because like your experience as an 18-year-old is probably a lot greater than the average 18-year-old. So you can't really put that into perspective, because it's really how you value your time and what you're using it for, and also creating those experiences. Because like even for us as 30-year-olds, I feel like we've done a lot compared to other 30-year-olds, right? So it's like it's really relative to like your experience and your time that you've put into your trade. So
I think it's a mindset also. Yeah. Where I didn't care also. Yeah. But I was like, I'm young, but I'm more driven,
like, of course.
Like I'm willing to put in the work, right? Yeah. And I think if for people that are like, hey, I'm too young, I'm too old, it's all mindset.
It's all in your head. Yeah. If you want to get something done, you'll get it done.
Exactly.
If you're looking for an excuse, you'll always find an excuse.
100%.
I find excuses sometimes too for myself. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. the market wouldn't like that, the market wouldn't like this, but really it's an excuse. So you really have to filter out those excuses and really push forward. If you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to get it.
Yeah, 100%. Are you the oldest sibling?
Yeah, I'm the oldest sibling. Yeah.
So you have a lot of responsibilities then too.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. I have it's me, and I have a younger brother, the one that's here right now, and then I have a sister. So my sister's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So she's a baby of the family.
Oh, she's 10 years younger.
She's 10 years younger than me. Wow. Yeah. So that's it. There's the three of us.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. When did you start Swipr?
Swipr, okay.
Homeswipr.
Homeswipr, yeah. So it's always been something I've wanted to do.
So what is Homeswipr?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Homeswipr really is our
This is your second company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Homeswipr is our way of really pushing forward the buying experience, right? We're looking at it and we're saying, okay, people need to buy a home, people want to buy a home, but there's a lot of obstacles in the way, right? It's not really like a smooth process a lot of the time. It's hard to find houses. It's hard to set up criteria with the realtor. There's a lot of back and forth, and the demographic nowadays likes doing things themselves, right? It's a trend where they want a good experience, but if they can do something themselves, they'll take care of it, right? Or they like being involved in the process. So what we're doing with Homeswipr is kind of building out a platform and an application where people can go online and do a lot of the things that they need to do for searching for a home, right? Where they can see the homes nearby them, they can search, they can set their own search criteria, they can favorite their houses. But one feature that really distinguishes us from everyone else out there is our Book Now feature. So what happens on our Book Now feature on Homeswipr is you see a home you like, you click Book Now, and we'll schedule it with someone from our team to go have a look and show you that house. So instead of filling up, hey, my name is John Smith, I want to see this home at 3 p.m., I'm a home buyer. You know how those forms go, right? It's literally, once you have an account created, you literally click and you request the appointment, and then someone from our booking team will take care of all of the logistics and let you know you're good to go.
Crazy. So and this is across Canada?
Across Canada. So we have listings across Canada. We're just doing the final testing stages here in Calgary. Once we work out all the little bugs, then we're going to start scaling it.
So you have a buying side website, and then you also have Tree Trunk, which is for the selling side.
For the selling side, yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then you also do real estate.
Yeah. So and on the operations, yeah. So we're good with buying, we're good with selling, we're good with operations. So it's it's a good setup.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to is execution and building a great team. Because I used to think you could do everything yourself. You can't. You need an exceptional team to really execute it out.
Yeah.
When did you learn that? Because I feel like I just started to learn that too. You need support, right?
So I think I learned that in the last 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
This same time last year, I had one employee, two including a software developer, and that was really it. Today I have almost about 40 plus contractors and this and that. Some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time. But somewhere along the lines, I had a little shift there. Because really what happened before was I was micromanaging everything. And that's why it took me 5 years to build a platform compared to the amount of time I spent on Homeswipr now. Before, I wanted to control every single detail. Now it's more like, okay, I trust you guys are good, take care of it, and then just send it to me to have a look at afterwards. And once you can really make that shift, and you got to understand that nobody's going to do anything 100% the way you want it or the way you like it. Sometimes you might be surprised. It might be better than you expect. Sometimes it's going to be not what you expect. But that's where you come in as a mentor and as a leader, and you got to coach people up to where the standard is, or you got to find people that beat the standard. And the way I look at it is, nobody's going to be 100% of what you want. But you know what? If you can get somebody that's going to give you 70% of what you want, take that person. Because really, the way that I look at it's like 80% of the people will give you 50% of what you want. And then you have like that 10% that's going to get you that like 70%. And then if you find somebody that can give you exactly what you want, hire them. Don't even think about it. Don't even think twice about it. Get that person on your team. Because that is very, very hard to find. Whether it's on marketing, development, design, accounting, it's really hard to find good, talented, qualified people.
How are you finding these people?
Before I would find, I think it's a little bit of good process, a little bit of good sheer luck. So for example, with my dev team, I found one dev. My old dev team, I found one dev.
Dev is
developer, yeah,
Yep.
software developer.
Yep.
So my first dev team, I found one dev, and then he referred me another two. So at that point, we had a team of 3, and then we hired one off of Indeed or something, got 4. Same thing now. That team kind of circulated out, especially with different projects and stuff. And now we have a new team. Found one dev, and then he recruited 5 more, just through their network. So a lot of the people that we hire are through referral basis. And then we have the occasional ones that come in from interviews. And then for the interviews ones, we have a good HR setup. So we have a HR manager and a recruiter, and then they work together to help source candidates. When they find candidates, they do the first round of interviews, second round of interviews, and then they send it to me at the third round after we kind of decide that there might be a decent fit. And then from there, we might give them a trial project or something and say, hey, why don't you try this out? We'll pay you for your time and see if they're a fit. If they're a fit, we bring them on the team full time. If they're not a fit, unfortunately, we either find a position that works for them or we say, hey, we're sorry, it's not a good fit at the moment.
Damn.
Are they all local?
We have a mix. We have a good mix. We have local. We have people in Vancouver, Toronto. We have Saudi Arabia. We have the Philippines. We have a really diverse team. So it's crazy with the work hours too, because everybody's on a different schedule.
That's cool though.
But especially in today's world where everyone's working from home, if you can find qualified talent anywhere in the world, what's wrong with that, right? Because it's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a digital age, right?
Yeah.
So everything is accessible online, and everyone has access through computer, Zoom, whatever.
Oh, yeah, and especially now, all these companies are spending billions of dollars on building even better tools for people to work from home. We implement things like time tracking and screenshotting. So every 30 seconds, the app takes a screenshot of what the people are working on, all that kind of stuff. Like
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool technology out there to really help you run a team.
I feel like you have gone through a lot of growth then in the last
5 years.
Yeah.
I would say it's been exponential. Like if you look at my first year and my second year, it was very marginal. If you look at the second and the third, and I feel like the goal is every year just to do double of what we were doing the last year.
Yeah.
I think this last 12 months has been really, really really expedited. It's it feels like a whole new person, whole new year kind of thing.
It's funny because the first time I saw you guys was actually at the Krebs Forecast in 2018.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Because him and I were there, and we saw your booth. I actually took one of your cards because I was like, "Tree Trunk, what is this?" I was like, and then it's funny, how many years is that now? 2 years later, we meet up.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, "Hey, I recognize you." So it's actually pretty funny that it's come full circle now. Because that's when we just joined up, end of 2017, and then Krebs Forecast 2018. We went to that. So
yeah, that was 2 years ago. I remember that.
Time goes so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say has made you grown so fast? So what happened?
I think the biggest thing was a little bit of a shift in mindset. Before
did you read a book? Was there a mentor? What triggered it?
So some of it was, the desire to, I want to do more. And how do you accomplish more? The only way you can accomplish more is really by having more people help you out. You only physically have so many hours in a day, right? But it's and then on top of that, there's a couple of really good books out there. What's a good example here? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
That's a good book.
There's that. There's a couple good ones. So once you read a whole bunch of different books, you kind of change your perspective. You meet some people, and a lot of good people. Actually, I've been very fortunate to run into very, very good people that have really helped me guide along the way. Where they say things like, "Hey, you can focus on certain things. Don't do things that aren't worth your time." Nawaz really harps that too. I've gotten in a lot of trouble for wasting time on a lot of things that don't matter.
Yeah, he's known for Don't waste my time with anything.
No, he's
don't
great.
talk to me.
No, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
Oh, he is. Yeah,
oh yeah. He knows how to whip you into shape.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because in his podcast, that was exactly what he said too, was mindset.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a problem with the business itself. It was his own personal mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
And once he fixed his own mindset on whatever task that he didn't think was possible, it actually made it even better. So mindset is key on anything you're doing, especially with business.
Yeah, I think the biggest shift in mindset was back in 2015. I was always thinking, I'm not ready yet. Let's add this. Let's be ready. And then there goes 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years later, I'm still not ready yet.
Yeah.
And then it flipped on me. I said, okay, you know what? I'm never going to be ready. Let's just go. Let's just do things. Let's just move. And that's really where the speed is really picked up. Because, when you're not like, planning, because, things never go as planned. You got to have a kind of general idea of where you want to go. And then you just got to let things happen and fall in place.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people struggle is they just keep planning and not execute.
Yeah.
Because you're going to actually learn a lot more by failing.
Yeah.
By just jumping in and like learning and just doing it yourself, right? It like scares people. Well, like for me, example, like when we were moving to Equium, I was so like, I'm not ready for this conveyancing deal. We're not ready to do this. We're not ready to do this. And I realized it was actually so simple and so easy.
Yeah. And
all that was created in my brain, right?
Of course.
And you literally like, I realized what I learned from that is like, you just got to just do it, and you're big enough to deal with anything that comes your way, right? You can never be 100% ready. Yeah. Right.
You just gotta believe in yourself, gotta believe that things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
If it works out also, that's like a bonus. If it doesn't, you learn, right?
Of course.
Versus like years and years of planning doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. You just gotta try.
Yeah.
Like if you don't ever try, you're never gonna succeed, and you're never gonna learn from the mistakes that you're gonna make, because you're gonna make mistakes as you go through it. And like the only thing that you can really do is just like plan.
Yeah. And learn.
Yeah.
Plan and learn and try. That's really, I think that was my biggest strength, especially at like when I was right out of high school. I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's see what can happen, right?
So right out of high school, you didn't go to college. You already knew you were doing. Yeah.
I was like,
That's
what?
awesome.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll learn along the way there. So for example, even for software,
like how did you start developing?
Yeah, literally. So what happened was that we got our first dev.
Yeah.
And I used to sit with him by his computer for like his whole shift. And I would just read the code, and I was like, okay, how do I do this? What do I do here?
So you hired a developer, and you just sat with him to watch it.
I sat with him for hours.
So you were paying some guy to develop, but you're also learning from him.
Yes, I was just. He used to drive me crazy sometimes. He's a great guy, but literally, I was sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and I would be such a little. I'd be such a pain. I'd be like, I don't like the color. Make it like change the color, shrink the text. This and that. Poor guy. But that's really how I learned how to read code and understand and learn the jargon and learn all that kind of stuff. Because
would you say you can code now?
I wouldn't say I can code, but I can read code pretty well. Like I'm really good at like finding like mistakes and stuff in code. Like they'll just be like, hey, this is a problem, or you can. It's been a really valuable skill. Where like if there's a problem, then I can offer some solutions. Like 5 years ago, I would not have any solution for anything. They'd be like, oh, this is a problem. I'd be like, good luck, guys. Yeah. But now I can kind of be like, okay, did you try this? Did you test that out? What's happening here? What steps have you tried? Did you consider this? And I wouldn't say I'm the best candidate for it, but I'm definitely better than average. Like where I at least I can communicate with them. I think the biggest hurdle is if you're not able to communicate with the team, then it's very hard to get things done. But if you can understand the problem, at least I think that's the first step.
Did you like when you first got out and you were hiring? Were you like to build the website cost money? Obviously, like did you have investors? Like how did you get that going? Like how did you, or did you just like use your own money that you made from real estate?
No. So a lot of it's been quite a mix. We have some. We have a lot of money from like mom and dad money. Yeah, thank them. Yeah. I used to help them with a lot of real estate sales. So what I would do is be like, okay, I'm helping with deals. Help me out here. Yeah. So that's where I got a lot of the capital from. Then we do have a couple investors, people that have helped us out along the way. We have a couple loans. Because it's no easy feat, to come up with. I think it's I know it's expensive, and it because it really adds up over time. It really does, and especially when you start out, you're not as cost efficient as you are, when you kind of understand what you're doing and all that, right?
Developers aren't cheap either.
Developers are not cheap.
Especially local ones.
No, they're very, very expensive. That's probably the biggest line item.
Yeah.
My biggest line item is software developers. But it's the cost of building a great product, right? So the way that I look at it is, I could cut down costs, and always think of what if we did this, what if we did that, or we proceed forward and see where it takes us, right? I'm confident in it, or else I wouldn't put our own money on stake, right? If I didn't believe in the product, I wouldn't be into it for this much.
For sure.
You're investing in what you believe in too.
Yeah.
So
because the way that I look at it is that's where the future of real estate is. It's experience based. Real estate agents will spend less time on process, more time giving an exceptional experience. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be true. And if we believe in that, then we should be putting our money where our mouth is, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you with how the direction for service is the real estate experience, where there's so many realtors out there, right?
Yeah.
And it's just creating more value, and people like that experience with their closing. It's a big transaction, right? And when you are able to have more time to focus on that, I feel like that's where your business will grow, right?
Yeah.
One of our associates that just joined us, Harold, he's been doing some big experiences, right? He buys a red carpet.
Yeah.
For the possession.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
He does he's
on the right track.
Yeah, and he doesn't the busier he gets, he's not gonna want to be focusing on.
And that's where people miss out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, the thing about a salesperson is the best salespeople aren't the people that are the best at paperwork and logistics. They're the best people at making people feel good. The best salespeople will make anybody feel good, no matter who they are, what they're doing, what the transaction is. It doesn't even matter if they're making money or not. That's generally the nature of really good salespeople, right? And that's usually how a good experience goes, right? Because really, how often do you spend $500,000, $1 million, $2 million? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you compare it, let's say you go spend $2,000 on a suit. They're gonna get you water. They're gonna fit you. They're gonna seat you. They'll take care of you. You go to a restaurant. You get an expensive meal. They treat you really well. But then there's a disconnect there, where there's 5,500 realtors in Calgary, and then how many of them are giving that kind of experience that they should be getting when they're making a $7,000, $10,000 commission? There's a big disconnect there.
Yeah.
So one of two things are going to happen with that, right? If there is a gap. So with the gap, there's only two options. Either the agents have to bridge that gap and provide a better experience, or the fee structure will go down, right?
Which is already
which is it exactly.
A lot of companies are yeah.
That's why you have your
the discount brokerages.
Yeah, your discount brokerages.
Purple
you have
Bricks.
Exactly. Purple Bricks, Comfree, all those, because they're saying, okay, we can systemize the process, and we can cut costs, give you a little bit less experience, and you'll save a bit of money, right? On the flip side, some companies are going the other way. Companies like us, where we're saying, okay, you know what? What we'll do is we'll give you the same cost, but what we'll do is we'll make the experience exceptional. Right? And then people will choose. People that want to save money will always save money. People that want an experience will always pay for an experience.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't want to be stuck in the middle there, in that gap. You don't want to fall through the cracks there.
It's like someone buying a knockoff bag.
Exactly.
And buying a Louis Vuitton. It's they're two different markets.
It's two different markets, right?
There's so many different markets for realtors in that segment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different,
And I always believe in experience. Good experience, good service. I think that's the way to go. Cost, people will never remember how good the deal was. They'll always remember afterwards, how bad the experience was.
Yeah.
Right? And and people don't understand that even with pricing in real estate, right, is if somebody can't negotiate their own commission, how are they going to, if they can't negotiate their money, how are they going to negotiate your money? I don't understand it. You know, because of course I've been to quite a few listing appointments, and somebody will come in and say, "Hey, you know, that guy's doing it for me for like $500 or $1,000," and I'm like, you know what? Hire that guy. Go for it.
Yeah.
Try.
Doesn't even pay for marketing.
Doesn't pay for marketing, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's the difference there, right? It's now, do you want somebody qualified that can get the job done? And I'm not saying that people that are on the discounts are not qualified. There's a lot of qualified people out there, but you're not going to get the same product.
Yeah.
It's like buying computers. You can buy a cheaper computer, you can buy a nicer computer. It's all, it doesn't matter, but.
Yeah, I read this article about how it said like just from one negative experience, you need 5 positive experiences just to bring you back to 0.
Yeah.
Because people always remember the negative. They don't remember the positive.
Of course.
So if like the service is great at the very beginning and it's been all the way like great to like the very end, and then one thing just happens, they forget everything that happened
else.
before. Yeah. So they really just focus on the negative. So you have to always turn that positive or the negative to a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Drake quote, but
no, it's very true, right?
Yeah.
Like in the last 2 years, what would you say you've learned the most about business? Because
accounting,
accounting, eh?
The financial side. I'm very good at spending money. I got to get better at making money.
Well, you spent a lot of money.
I spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
What I learned is really how do you get the most for your dollar.
Okay.
Right. That's really what I've been working on and learning. As well as, you know, how to be better with books, management, all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, there's only so many things you can do in a day, especially when you have so many projects on the go. There are places that you do miss, right? So I think that was one of the places that I was weak on was accounting and all that. So now, of course, allocating time to that and team building in HR. Yeah. I think you need 4 good things. You need good operations, you need good management, you need good HR, good accounting, and good R&D. If you take care of those 4 things, you're golden.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is you do, like entrepreneurs when they first start out, I know for myself, is like money management. Yeah. Right? You're all about focusing on getting the business, growing the business. But yeah, I would definitely say I learned that too, right? In my early stages where it's like, yeah, let's just spend so much money. Do this, right? Well, who cares, right? But you're not actually budgeting, right? Yeah. You're not looking at where your money's going. You're just spending it.
And there's a big gap between the expectation of being an entrepreneur and the reality. I swear, you go online, you go on Instagram, and everybody's in a private jet. You know, it's very different. Yeah. You know, really, like if
that's why we're doing the podcast, because people see that, but they don't understand the behind the business
behind the work.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But there is a gap, especially what you see online. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if you believe what you see online, you're gonna put yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
So like being a business owner is basically like being your company slave. That's really what it is. Yeah. No matter what happens, when somebody needs help, you have to be there. You got to be available. For example, yesterday I started my day at 6:30 in the morning. I had messages already at 6:30. I finished at 2 in the morning.
Jeez.
Different teams. Some people were like staying. Like one of our software devs stayed in late to help us take care of some of the changes we're making on the site, and they needed feedback and this and that. And you got to be there. You got to be available, right?
Yeah. Your time doesn't matter.
Exactly. Your time is free. Yeah. Nobody else's time is free in the business except yours.
Yeah. When you are an entrepreneur, especially at the beginning, right? You are actually like people think it's like you're not working for someone, right? But you actually are working for like the business and the company. Yeah. So you're actually working even more. Yeah. But it's more fulfilling because it's yours, right? And it's your time and how you make it, whatever, right? But yeah, I think people definitely don't realize how much work is needed to even get to certain levels of business. It's not when they see stuff on Instagram or like social media, they think that it was very easy to get there. Yeah. But there's so much. Oh yeah. Like even getting a house sold. Okay. Yeah. People just see us. Yeah. House is sold. Okay. They don't see like that could have been like 3 failed offers. Like.
Yeah,
you know,
like
how
500
many,
showings.
Yeah, 5. Like you know, like
it's funny because like whenever I talk to like friends I haven't talked to in a while, they're always like, "Oh, it seems like you guys are busy." It's like, "Oh, it seems like this."
Or
it's
you're
like,
so lucky.
Yeah. It's like, no, actually, we're fucking working hard. Yeah. Like, we were just with a client yesterday, and we were telling her like the amount of hours that we work, and she was like, "Holy shit! Like you guys are fucked."
They don't expect it. Oh yeah,
but they don't see that. They like when I share 5-second video. They don't see what I'm doing like 3 hours before, right? Like we're working, how many clients we're talking to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you have a bad day. The mortgage instructions are late.
Yeah.
The seller's lawyer doesn't want to close anymore. You got to pay interest. Like, oh man.
No one sees that.
Nobody sees that.
And that's why I love this podcast, because like we get to actually share like the realness of the business, where, you know, if you do want to get into entrepreneurship or business, it's like, it's not a walk in the park. You know, I think it's a lot easier now because we've done it for so long. So we've created structures and, you know, but definitely at the beginning stages it's huge growing pain, right?
It's very, like, to start a business from scratch and even be successful with it is very, very, very hard. But the beauty is it's fulfilling. You know, when you look back and you say, oh, you know, 3 years ago I was doing this and now today I'm doing this, and you look back and you say, okay, wow, you know, we came a long way. That's where you get that fulfillment, right? Or, you know, like for me, sometimes, you know, I just drive by and I see a realtor's for sale sign and it has a little tree trunk sticker on it. I'm like, wow, that like makes my day, right? It's the little things, right? But there's a lot of sweat that goes into this, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, and that's for everybody. Anybody that's trying to work hard, trying to achieve a dream, they got to work hard. Like, Michael Jordan was in the gym all day, every day. He had to be.
And he always watched all his replays too, to see where he could do better. He wasn't watching how other players were playing; he was watching how he was playing. You got to focus on yourself, stay in your own lane, and push hard.
What do you think motivates you though at this age? I mean, I felt like I was like, I've always enjoyed my life, and I'm at 23. I wasn't working that many hours.
You know, I really want to make a difference. I think that's really what it is. When you combine the, hey, you know, I want to make a difference, and then the way I start my day every morning is I wake up, I look at the clock, and I'm like, you know what? There's billion-dollar companies I got to compete with. I don't have time to be sleeping right now.
Because that's a big mindset, though, to be thinking like that, right? For sure.
Because you know, the reality is like Zillow, Redfin, EXP, Trulia, Remax. Like we're a small fish. We're nothing. And if you want to compete with those big players, the only way you can beat them is speed. You have to be faster than them. You're not going to beat them at scale or size or any of that thing. You're going to beat them with speed. And if you want to win, you got to go fast. So it's really, you know, wake up in the morning and you got to motivate yourself. You got to whatever that is, whether it's, hey, you know, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to beat this company. I want to grow. I want to provide a better life for my family. You got to find your spark. And then wake up in the morning, think of that spark, and be like, go.
100%. Because it's like what they say, like, it's like work smarter but not harder. It's like, why don't you work smart and work hard?
Exactly.
You'll fucking get past them way faster.
Because your business model is scalable, and I know that you mentioned that a lot, where like you want to go across Canada, right? When people are doing the Homeswipr on the buy side, though, how do you guys generate money on that side?
So the way that it's going to work is basically a referral process. So we'll have selected real estate agents like you guys working with us across Canada. And then we'll send them the leads. Whenever they close a deal, we'll get a little bit of a kickback there.
Nice.
It's a volume game.
It's a volume game. And really the goal for us, it was less on the monetization. It was more on how do we build a great search experience. Because, you know, it's really easy to monetize a great product. But it's very hard to build, like try to make money and just get it out of everybody. You got to build something great. Like, for example, look at like an iPhone. When they came out, especially back in 2007, they were different. They were bold. They were simple. You know, you didn't have to change your battery in your phone. You know, things like that. Like you could press one button and do everything.
And the whole screen was a phone.
The whole screen was a phone. What? Right? And if you remember, the iPhone originally started like $349 in Canada, $349. Today they're at $2,000 for a similar product.
People are still buying them.
People are still buying them because what they did is they built an exceptional product, and that's what we want to do. We want to build an exceptional product.
That's funny. I still have my original iPhone too. It's like a brick. It still works.
Yeah, no, they're great. I have a graveyard of iPhones just sitting around somewhere.
When you say like build a product, I feel like you have hit this market where you're actually trying to work with realtors. I see a lot of business models with brokerages and new business real estate models, it's like they're trying to eliminate realtors.
I don't really stand by that model. I don't want to be the person trying to put 125,000 people out of work. It's not what I stand for. What I want to do is I want to say, okay, we'll make your life easier. Sure, like over time, what happens in the industry is things get cheaper. The cost of like products do get cheaper. People might be making less money over time, but we want them to be doing less work for that too. And we want to build a better process and make it easier, right? Because I can't control what the competitors will do, right? But what I can do is help build a process that we can work together with real estate agents across Canada and hopefully soon across North America to really deliver great experiences to people, right? And if companies think that, hey, we're going to go kill off the real estate agent, you guys can go ahead and try. Yeah. The only way that the real estate agents will kill themselves off is if they do not do that service jump. If you do not give clients an exceptional experience, they're going to be questioning why they're even paying you. But if you're giving them service, there's no reason not to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, service is everything.
It is. And I've realized we have to definitely step up the service just to be aligned with like the bigger, like to produce more like in competition, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they want, to know that you are servicing them better, which is essentially value, right?
Yeah.
So, what does happiness mean to you?
For me, it's waking up in the morning and doing what you
seem
love.
like a jolly guy.
Oh,
still.
yeah.
But like you got so many things going on, right?
Oh man, I'm the kind of person that like I've tons of bad days. Almost every day is a bad day. Because you that's the role in management. You got like so many fires you got to put out, and there's no break in between. Like nobody's like, hey, this thing went wrong. We'll just wait 2 days or something. Everything, when it goes bad altogether, right? But you got to look back at it. You got to reprioritize, and you got to say, look, as long as we're doing what we want, we're living the dream. Things are gonna get tough, but you got to push through it. And then you look back and you say, oh, look at all the other things that came up. We overcame those ones. Why can't we overcome these ones? It's going to happen. You just got to give it time, right? And I really think it comes to the mindset, because the way that I look at it is if you don't give up, you can't lose. Simple as that.
True, yeah.
So just don't give up. Just keep going at it.
Yeah.
When did you realize mindset kind of came to me about, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like, how did you start getting into the mindset at such a young age? Because I feel like at that age, you're just like,
you're not thinking about that.
You're not thinking about that, right?
That's a tough one. It's just
like did it just kind of happen naturally, or are you surrounded by the right people, or like
a little bit of both? I think the right people, like, and there's two kinds of people out there. There's someone that's out there that'll look at somebody and be like, get jealous of, why that person, why not me? I've always been the kind of person that looks at something and says, okay, how do I learn from that? How do I get better? Right? And I spend a lot of time looking at people and a lot of companies, people that I know, and even people like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, and of course, everybody's like Steve Jobs. Yeah. And you look at them and you say, okay, where did these people start? And you see, like, for example, Steve, they started in a garage. Amazon was started in a garage. Like, they're all average people, right? There's nothing like super spectacular. Like, they're not robots. They like, sure, maybe the environment and a little bit of luck, good timing, things like that, connections, but it's possible to do anything that anyone else has done. If someone else has done it, you can do it too. Right? So if that's what's out there, then you really got to look at it and you got to learn and say, okay, what can I learn from these people, right? So for example, if you look at, I'll go back to Jeff Bezos on this one, right? Amazon's earliest days, there's an article out there where instead of buying desks, Jeff took off doors and like made with 2x4s and made it like a desk, right? For cost savings, right? If you look at like a lot of these companies, like if you really look at like the amount of hard work and dedication and mindset that kind of went into growing it, and then you try to replicate that mindset, then you're golden.
Yeah, it's true. I think the biggest things are mindset, habits, and consistency.
Yeah.
and just kind of keep that going all the time. Like good habits, I would say, not bad habits.
Continuous learning has to be a habit. I try to learn something new every single day. It could be the randomest thing. Like the other day, I was learning on like how like certain kinds of cheeses were made. Like just like you will never believe like what kind of crazy thing really like falls into place to help you in your own business. It's unbelievable. But you know, the more things that you learn, the more things you have in your Rolodex of ideas, right?
For sure.
So I think that's the one of the most valuable skills that you can work on is really continuous learning.
Yeah. Because you actually don't know a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's so many people out there that can support like either books, audiobooks, mentors, just other people in the industry that can help really drive your game and also drive the business as well. So that constant learning, like you have to.
Yeah.
Because there's always people that are going to be continuing learning more and more. It's all those people that think that they know everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, 5 years ago, that was, I think, the biggest shift in mindset. 5 years ago, I used to think I knew everything.
I think everyone at 18 thinks they know everything, right?
I know everything, right?
Yeah.
And then over time, I started having a little bit of shift there, and I started realizing I really don't know anything.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there that are absolutely brilliant, right? But now you got to look at these people and say, okay, you know, you're good at what you do, and either like you need people like that on your team, or you need to learn some of those skills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think you got to be humble with yourself. You got to know like what you're good at. You got to know what you're bad at, and you got to be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing too is self-awareness, right? Well, the more aware of yourself, the more happier you are.
Yeah.
Feel, right? And I think that's something that should be taught at a very young age.
Yeah.
You know, like just become aware of yourself, why you're doing what you're doing, like, you know, who you are and everything else will come along.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and the biggest thing here I see with a lot of people is a lot of people I find nowadays are very like insecure about themselves. You know, they see something on social media and then they start to feel bad and, you know, and you know, the thing is, if you can stay grounded and just focus on yourself, stay in your lane, you'll do really, really well.
Yeah.
I find that the people that are like more focused on others than themselves are the ones that really fail to prosper, you know?
Yeah, I find that like if you're just using social media or like comparing yourself with other people, you're actually using like external means to have like self-gratification. But if you like have a fundamental of your own roots and understand yourself, then none of that stuff really matters.
Yes.
So focus on the inward and on the out.
Yeah.
before we wrap this up, Dave, and Rahim, did you have any questions for Rahim? Dave?
What got you into real estate other than your parents?
I really liked real estate. I don't know. It's just I like making deals. And like making big deals is like better than making small deals. Like you guys know how it is, you know, especially when you close a transaction, like, you know, fine, you know, 14 selling iPhone cases is fine. Okay, whatever, right? You know, you move up the scale, maybe you sell some stocks or sell some, you know, but like a real estate deal it's a big deal. They're $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $1 million bucks. And it's a lot of fun. Like there's no feeling like closing a deal. And I think that was kind of like addicting.
That's so true. When you close a deal,
it's the best thing on earth. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like that grind and also just getting it done. You're like, yes, fuck yeah. Like, we just did that yesterday. It's pretty funny.
Because some deals take a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so
People don't understand how much work really goes into like closing a real estate deal. They are tough. And there's so many parties involved. There's a buyer, there's a seller, buyer's lawyer, seller's lawyer, buyer's brokerage, seller's brokerage,
mortgage brokers.
It's mortgage broker, like
home inspectors.
There's so many people involved, and you know, and it's not even like at the waiver when they waive the conditions and stuff that the deal's done. No, it goes until you give them the keys. After they move in 1 week later, hey, where's the mailbox keys? 6 months down the road, hey, you know, my toilet's leaking. Do you know anybody that can help me out?
That's true.
But
we just did a closing and we're still dealing with the carpets.
I'm still doing. I'm dealing with a closing that I closed 2 months ago.
Wow.
I'm just like, okay, like here's what we'll do for you.
But you know what? It's part of it. That's really what makes it fun, right? I think the nice thing about like being an entrepreneur is like no 2 days are the same. And you know, some people thrive in an environment like that. Some people don't, right? I like a little bit of organized chaos. I find that, like, when you try to stay too organized, nothing goes as planned. Might as well have a little bit of organized chaos. It's a lot more fun that way too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've created Swipr.
Yeah.
You've created
Homeswipr.
Homeswipr. Yeah.
Swiper's a dating app. No.
You're gonna create a Swipr dating app.
Oh man, who knows? Who knows?
You created Swipr. You got your real estate license. You have Tree Trunk.
Yeah.
You created, and you're 23, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say before we end the podcast here? Just want to share with the listeners.
I really, the last thing I want to say here is, focus on your dreams. If you can imagine it, you can do it. Really, that's the one thing that I think everyone should take home with them. Stay focused on yourself, dream big, and go for it. Don't stop yourself. You're the only person that can hold you back.
Yeah, for sure. You're your worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Awesome.
That was a good note to end it on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I guess, where can we actually find you?
Yeah, what's your social media website?
At Rahim Damji on Instagram. If you guys want to check out Homeswipr.
It just launched too, right?
Yeah, just launched. Sites live. www.homeswipr, SWIPR.com or .ca. No E in Homeswipr, by the way. And then we're just getting all the social profiles and stuff set up. You'll be able to find us at Homeswipr on Instagram and Facebook. If you're looking for us for Tree Trunk, at Tree Trunk. If you're looking for our clothing, at Immigrant Clothing, IMIGRNT Clothing on Instagram and Facebook.
And what is this at Immigrant Clothing at? Just so before we...
Okay, so this was my little fun project.
Yeah.
We rolled this out back, I think this was 2015, 2016, before the last Trump election. And we really found that there was a lot of like xenophobia and racism and hate, and we wanted to push forward a message, kind of like, like as people, we're stronger together, not divided. So that's kind of our slogan there. It's, we're stronger together. And we wanted a catchy name, something that really stood out, right? So we picked Immigrant of all the names.
That's cool. I want to see this stuff. I'd wear that because we're immigrants.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably like out of all the brands, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's like your passion project.
Yeah,
right?
that's a little passion project.
Awesome. Well, they could find that online too.
Yeah, they can find that online and www.immigrant.ca.
So that's crazy. You have like a clothing line also.
T-shirts,
man.
hoodies, hats.
Like I said, man, you make me feel lazy.
It's over time, It's just everything just grows. You like the way I look at it is like it's like. But the thing is, if like there's two ways to do it. Either you can stay super laser focused, and you can go take one thing, absolutely crush it, and then move on to the next thing. And that's usually the way that people are most successful. I took a kind of different approach where I have a couple different things on the go, and I kind of split up my time with like 60% on the most important thing, 30% on whatever else has to get done, and then 10% on the fun projects. And that 10% just accumulates over time.
That's a good way to divide your time up, right?
Yeah.
So, well, awesome, Rahim. Great to have you. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll
thank
end
you.
it at that.
Awesome.
Cool.